Welcome to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sports. This is the #1 place for all your fantasy content. We do the research, so you don't have to. But wait, so you don't play fantasy? We have you covered with all your F1, IPL, and UCL content. So head on over to the Fantasy Pavilion YouTube page, like, subscribe, stay connected with us. We have all the content you're looking for to fix that team though and do better. The last year you were doing shaky. But this year we're doing better. We're doing better this year.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sports. Of course, we are here to discuss Game Week 11. I'm joined by my mate all the way from down under, Johnny, Liverpool fan, and of course, Paul, Man U fan. We don't even want to talk about what's happening right now, Paul. We're not taking that on, right? We'll ignore today. Today don't exist. Today don't exist. Today don't exist at all, right, Johnny?
You've been hiding, Paul. It's good to have you back, mate. Last time I saw you, you said, "Man, you were on the up and up."
Yeah. A lot has changed since then. Yeah.
I like.
I'm
What do you
plus.
think
I'm
Onana's
plus.
pretty good though?
Oh, what's that? Sorry.
What do you think of Onana? What do we think?
Oh, no. I mean, he's an exceptional keeper, great keeper, but yeah,
No help in defense.
Yeah, the defense is. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm speechless. At a loss for words right now.
Let's not torture him, Jared. Let's move on.
Not yet. But to be fair, Onana put down some real big saves in that last game. Though. He really, because it could have been worse.
He was our best player. He was our best player in that game against City, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know when you keep as your best player, you know, things bad.
Well, unless you won the game 1-0, then and you keep like when you'll beat us 1-0 that time and they hear me like 100 saves, like that kind of game, you'll understand that. But not when you're losing and the keeper is the best. That's not good reflection of what's happening. All right, so sadly though, Paul, we have to take a look back. So you don't have to. I mean, your game right at the bottom of the list. So watch until. Right, we must take a look back because we want to start looking at
he's mop, fellas. He's mop.
We need to make note of the players that are doing well, and there's some consistent guys coming in their journey, right? So of course, London Derby, Spurs and Palace, of course, Son scoring, big surprise there. Joe Ward with an own goal, with Madison with the assist. So the two main guys that everyone has contributed. Check. Right? That's a good day, good start to the game week there, Jenny. I know he was happy for sure. Right? Then
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you scored, assisted by Anderson. Someone that we spoke about, Anderson is one of those defenders. He's been in between, in and out, coming in with some decent points. Right, so not too bad at all. But of course, the main guys from Spurs moving forward are Son and Madison. Anybody else, Paul, for you popping up from Spurs? Like if you have to recommend someone, if someone can't afford Son or Madison for some reason, is there anyone else on the horizon from Spurs that you would suggest? Or is it only Son and Madison?
Well, I see. Actually, I had Richarlison in my team before the game, and then I got the news that this guy is back healthy. He's fit again. Brennan Johnson. They're signing from Nottingham Forest. So he might be, I don't know what his price is, but it seems like he might be getting some more playing time soon. But it's a bit of an outside punt. So I wouldn't really take that chance yet until I see exactly how, they started to break up the playing time between Johnson and Richarlison. But he could be an outside punt, or maybe even somebody like Sa or Kuleveski if you really want to go differential, But for me, yeah, I would just stick with Madison and Son if you own them for now, or at least one
Yeah,
of the two.
yeah, fully understand. All right. So yeah, I think that's the main boys there from there. So 2-1 Spurs.
But
Right,
the defense,
Brentford. Mm,
just one more point. Sorry, the defense. I
sorry.
wouldn't want to get into the defense because the matchup starting to get a little more trickier for
Right.
Spurs. So yeah, hold off on any of the defenders. I got burned because I had Poro, and I was saying, yeah, I have a clean sheet in the bag. That clean sheet good.
Yeah.
And then 94th minute, I think it was, Cristobal score. I was like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
after I get
Yeah. Yeah, that kill a lot of people with Poro for sure.
boy.
Another London derby, right? So a lot of London derbies. Brentford 2, Chelsea 0. Now, of course, this upset me as an Arsenal fan. Right? I was very upset because they peppered us, played very well. We were very fortunate to come up with that 2-all draw. And then Brentford goes there and make it look like training day, like a training session in the GTX Stadium. So, yeah, Brentford 2. And of course, our boys are back cooking. Johnny and Boomo back cooking. And of course, we have Pinnock, our defender, who was big enough back cooking. So, and Boomo scored and assisted. And big up Mope coming in with a clutch assist as well. Well, it wasn't supposed to be an assist. It should have been his goal, but I am happy. And Boomo scored and assisted there. Brentford's another team that were a bit on the slump and now coming back up. Two good results back to back. Johnny, do we stick with Mbumo? We stick with Wisa? Is suggesting anybody from here at all moving forward?
Look, Brentford can be a bit of like you said, they're coming back now, but they're very hot and cold, aren't they? I mean, against a side like Chelsea, yes, it was at Stamford Bridge, so that used to mean something. These days, it doesn't mean as much as it used to, and I think Chelsea really have a massive identity crisis at the moment. They don't really know what type of football they want to play, who's going to be the leaders, who's going to stand up, who's going to make a difference. So against a team like Chelsea, you will find teams like Brentford finding success when previous seasons they may not have. So it's hard you don't want to read too much into this result. Having said that, though, Mbuemo's fantastic pick. We've highlighted him throughout this season already multiple times. Pinnock's an interesting one as well. Got forward a lot for someone who's a defender in FPL, considered a defender. So might be a look in for a cheap defender, especially if you're, like Paul said in the last game there, Spurs defenders might be worth getting rid of looking at the upcoming fixtures. So Pinnock could be a great one to pick up if you're losing a Pedro Porro. You're trying to get rid of some of these guys from Spurs. Might be worth a look in at Pinnock.
Yeah. No thanks for that. Right, moving right along. Swiftos. Oh, we gotta stay too long on this one, but of course, the greatest team in London, showing other teams how to beat Sheffield, right? Comfortably. This is how you beat Sheffield. Comfortably, not with last minute goals and you're celebrating like you win the Champions League, right? Not calling out anybody, right? But yeah, this is how you properly beat at home.
Spurs did that too.
Well, no, it's only. Well, it's only. I was only talking about one team. I didn't say call anybody. I was talking about one team. A team from North London. North London. Not the rainiest part of England. I wasn't talking about the rainiest part of England.
Excuse me. I'm a little defensive right now. Sorry. You have to excuse.
Well, you more defensive than your team, but we'll leave it there. Johnny, you go, Johnny.
Good one.
Wait. Sorry. You know what? That was harsh. That was harsh. And as a friend, Paul, I will give myself one of these, right? I'll give myself one of these, right? I'll give myself one of these.
Is that the first yellow card in the fantasy pavilion? There should have been more, I reckon, already.
Oh my gosh. So it's Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0. Brilliant. Of course, everyone would have been happy because the Gabriel was rested, so that threw off certain people. Well, no Odegaard for those who are following Odegaard. Of course, but the main scorers, Nketiah, hat trick, whoever had Nketiah in the world, big up to you. Right, I'm sure the people with him, but big up you. Good job. Fabi Vera scoring, Tamiyasu scoring. So none of the main guys really on the score sheet, but Saka with a return. We'll take that and run to the hills. But of course, this was just Arteta rotating. This will not be the team, obviously, going forward to all the games. We have Newcastle coming up this weekend. Very difficult game. So, of course, I will stick to the usual cast. But there is no Gabriel. So, obviously, Nketiah will be there. But we saw Nketiah today, but he didn't get any service from what I was told. Like, much service today. It wasn't good for him today against West Ham. But hopefully, it's better against Newcastle. A way more stricter defense. So, but we will see. We will see. But of course, these guys will not be the main guys. Of course, Rice with an assist. So Rice and Saka with the returns. The main we look at. Obviously, no one has Rice as yet. But big up Saka, fellas. Saka moving forward. But oh, Martinelli. Were anybody looking at Martinelli as yet?
Yeah, I think Martinelli's one that is very, very hard to not have in your side when he's fit. He's come back and it was quite exciting. His first game back off the bench, he scored. Very exciting. And I think he's a great player to have, especially in a midfield situation where, you know, goals and assists are going to be worth more and they get the points for the clean sheets too. However, Newcastle this week, Jared, I'm concerned, mate. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm not sure if you don't. I don't know if this is a week to bring in an Arsenal player. If you have one in your side already, such the situation, I think there's definitely a potential to keep in a Martinelli or a Saka this week, but I wouldn't be jumping on any players. If you don't have an Arsenal player in your side, I wouldn't be jumping on them this week just based on the fact that the Newcastle game is going to be tough and they had a bad result against West Ham this morning that we won't talk about any further, Jared.
Yeah, facts. No, you're right. You're very, very, very. I'm not upset with that at all. Great analysis because it's a very difficult game. And Newcastle are flying very high right now. So and that's a long trip. So yeah, and we know how St. James Park will be. So that's going to be a very difficult game for the boys. But obviously, if you already have Saka, you already have Odegaard, you hold on to them. I would say maybe if ever Arsenal, if they could bench him this wrong, then give a shot another one, maybe, if that's the case. But if you have the attackers already, you can't go wrong with Saka. Because as Saka has proven time and time again, as much as Saka could have a bad game, once Saka gets one chance, a sniff, that's it. So Saka is very key and vital to your fantasy team. Right? We've seen that. Well, I won't jump on the Bournemouth Burnley, but Bournemouth did well. Billing and Semeno on the end of the scoring there, so not too bad. This one was an interesting one. This one gives me hope, but of course, Newcastle went home, right? But this one is a tricky one because we were talking about Neto a lot, Paul, and now Neto has come and got injured. So that one has me a bit concerned because I really would have liked to jump on Wolves. Wolves have some interesting fixtures coming up. Of course, Wolves to Newcastle too. We have Wang Yi-chan again, consistent scoring. Neto with the assists again, consistent, but he's not going to be with the team this week. And then Wilson with a brace, super consistent, sure, and Shaw with one of the assists. Now, fellas, asking you all this one, moving forward, you think that's it for Wolves because Neto not there? It will still jump on Wang Yi-chan. If you have Wang Yi-chan or Cunha, just saying. Or anybody else from Wolves, are you going to drop them now because there's no Neto, or that should not be a huge issue?
I don't believe it should be a huge issue. Sorry, John. No, you go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I don't think it should be a big issue. I mean, although yes, Neto has been basically pulling all the strings for the Wolves. They have a good solid feel. You know, it's not bad. You know, other guys could step up, like your Gomes and who else do they have in that midfield? Lemina, you know. Obviously, Wang Hee-chan is having a great season with 6 goals. You know, so they have good solid players. But they will miss Neto. You know, that's not
Sugar
Let's not really
position.
go by the fact that Neto is the playmaker for them, but I feel like they have enough to that they could compensate for missing him. Though.
Okay. Yeah. Johnny?
Yeah. If you've got Hee-chan, I'd be keeping him. He's red hot form at the moment. He's looking really good. But otherwise, I would. It's again similar situation to when we were talking about the Arsenal players. I wouldn't be looking at bringing any Wolves players into my side at this stage, especially with the Neto injury. I think he is that focal point for them where everything sort of goes through him in their style of play. Everything
Yeah.
sort of flows through Neto, and he's just he's a beautiful player. If you actually sit and watch him play, he's a beautiful player to watch. He really is. Understands the game so well. So taking someone like that out of a side like Wolves, where there maybe isn't that depth and backup that they could bring someone else in to fill that role, I think you might be right, Jared. It might be a bit of a rough time to have a Wolves player in. Hee-chan might not have the supply that he's used to with Neto there. So I wouldn't be racing to bring any Wolves players in. If you do have Hee-chan or Cunha, maybe keep them for this week. I think their fixtures are pretty favourable in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be bringing any Wolves players in. I would be trying to bring them in. I wouldn't waste the transfer on that.
Yeah. Fully agree. Yeah. But they're playing Sheffield next, so that's the only reason why I'm a bit, interested in that one. But obviously, if Neto was still there. Interestingly, Everton won. West Ham, I've been telling you, you know, have a soft spot for Everton, and Everton told you guys, don't worry about it. Everton only rise doing little things. Everton are going to take some points here and there. They actually had a very nice win today against Burnley in the Carabao. So, yeah, I know Johnny don't want to hear that, but yeah, Calvert-Lewin with the goal. Right, so big up Calvert-Lewin. Obviously, I won't suggest getting any Everton assets, obviously, but big up Everton, big up Calvert-Lewin. Good to see him scoring. I really have a nice spot for Everton. The team that everyone's keeping an eye on for sure. After Newcastle, I think Aston Villa 3, Luton 1. Of course, we expected this result. Maybe not the goal, but it was an own goal. So Aston Villa were very selfish with all the goals. Of course, we have McGinn and Diaby scoring, Bailey assisting, Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz and Diaby. Shout out Douglas Luiz. He's in my fan tracks team. So he has been literally saving me in some of my head-to-head duels. Yeah, and well, of course, Luton getting a goal there. Aston Villa assets, obviously, we stick to the usual script. We stick with Cash or Diaby. Obviously, we should have never dropped Diaby, Paul. We had Diaby in our YouTube team from game week 1, and we dropped him. We were impatient with him. Have to admit that. And he has come up trumps now. But what about Bailey? Is Bailey a good punter? I have reservations with Bailey, but is Bailey a good shout from this team, or do we just stick with the usual cast? Diaby, maybe Louise and Watkins?
Yeah, funny enough, I believe Douglas Luiz might be a good option. Well, I didn't make that mistake with Diaby. I actually brought him in to my team when you got rid of him off the YouTube team. I actually brought him in, and
Nice.
he didn't score any points at first, but he finally came through with a goal and an assist. So I'm glad to have him in my team, and he still isn't highly owned. So if you want to get in on that Villa midfield, he is a good option. He's only 6.7 mil. Douglas Luiz is, as I said before, is cheap, 5.6. Once again, he came to the party and assists as well. So I would quickly lean to those two. I'm not sure with Leon Bailey, with the rotation, maybe one game he starts McGinn instead. It's still kind of up in the air with him. Although I'm seeing he's getting more playing time recently. But I would still go lean towards more to Diaby and Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. All right. I never back to that. Yeah, but they're looking good. I have to admit that, Johnny. Aston Villa looking good, and have to have at least
I brought Diaby into my side and have not looked back. He's an absolute jet. I love him, and Douglas Luiz as well. He is playing some great football at the moment, and also worth a shout mentioning Watkins as well. With those two playing behind him, he's going to have so many chances to get on the score sheet. So he's definitely another chance. I know Villa's sort of coming to the end of that I think we earmarked like 3 games in a row where they had some really easy games. And I think
Yes.
Luton was definitely one of those that we earmarked. And then I think there's one or two more after that. So there's, they're doing the right thing. They're getting that momentum going. And Douglas Lewis and Diaby, you've got to have at least one of those in your side at the moment, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, maybe it might come to a point where we might even have to triple. But when that time reaches, I think most people might have already been tripling because they might have Cash, Watkins, and they might have Diaby already. I think some people might already be tripling.
Yeah, some people may have already tripled up on Villa. At least one Villa defender. But the only issue with Villa is they're not struggling to keep clean sheets. Like they're getting 3 goals, 4 goals, and they're just giving up that 1 goal. But Cash owners got through because Cash was taken off just before they conceded. So
yes, yeah. Now, big up Johnny. Of course, Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Right, Nottingham Forest is not for everybody, so Liverpool showing, hey, this is how you deal with them. Allison, of course, with 7 points, so decent keeper return. Virgil, right? Big up Virgil, 8 points. He got some of the bonus points there. So, of course, Darwin, Jota, and Salah on the score sheet. Super Sly, hope I said that correct. Johnny, correct me there, right?
Sly,
right, with a brace of assists, and Darwin with an assist as well. So a decent pot of points, there from those players. So of course Salah, banging, Darwin banging, of course Soberslide. I don't know much people with Soberslide, but for those with him, kudos to you. That's 12 points there. Of course, Darwin with 10. So not too bad. I think Liverpool straightforward asset wise. I don't think there's any debate on who to have right now. And all of have been talking about Darwin. I think Darwin versus Watkins. I think that's the main debate. But other than that, you must have Salah right now. Salah's cooking. Even if it's just 1 assist, 1 goal, he is cooking right now. So can't go wrong with that.
I think the important assets to look at here, Jared, is and one that's been overlooked a little bit is Szoboszlai. And you did say that name correct, so well done. But he is involved in just about everything Liverpool's doing at the moment. He is taking the corners. He's it's between him and Trent for the free kicks. He's playing that number 10 role in the midfield where we sort of made Firmino play that role for such a long time, even though he was our striker. We didn't really have that midfielder connecting the passes, and now that Szoboszlai there is doing that, he is involved in all of the play. Another one worth mentioning is Diogo Jota, of course, with Diaz, and that's an awful situation happening with Luis Diaz at the moment,
course.
and I'm sure everyone in the football community sends their love to him and his family and the return of his father. I know they're still looking for him
safely.
So we want that situation to be resolved. In the meantime, whilst that's happening, Diaz obviously won't play. So Jota gets an automatic start. Gakpo's looking good, and then Darwin Núñez has been involved in scoring for Liverpool, whether it be an assist or a goal, every 55 minutes this season for Liverpool in all competitions. So that's kind of incredible when you think about it. He's the kind of impact striker that you want in your side. So if you're right, Watkins, Núñez, I think Núñez is winning that battle at the moment.
Yeah. And Liverpool doing really well too. Just that unfortunate call. That unfortunate call, Johnny. You would have been, it would have been a different story. And of course, Brighton Fulham, straightforward. Ferguson scoring, Paulinho scoring, so straightforward. And we'll rip this one off like a band-aid real quickly. Right? So City 3, United 0. Usual suspects, so Haaland with a brace, Foden goal, Bernardo, Haaland, and Rodrigo assisting as well. Nothing for Alvarez this time around. So Alvarez blanking there for the first time in a few games. Does this definitely prove? Okay, what does this prove, though, guys? Do we have to captain Haaland, or is it just enough to have Haaland?
This game week, for sure. This game week, you cannot sleep on Haaland. They're matching up against Bournemouth. It's a week by week thing. I think no. I remember last year it was every week we was on Haaland, but depending on the matchup, especially who they're playing, you definitely had to take serious consideration into captaining him, and especially if you still have him in your team, which I do. I didn't get rid of. You have to, yeah, you have to weigh out the options. If the matchup is looking good and it's looking great this week, I mean, Bournemouth is giving up goals. It's at home for City at the Etihad. I mean, I would be surprised. I think the majority of fantasy owners they are going to captain Haaland this week.
Right.
Yeah.
Johnny?
Well, I think we've said it all season. The difference in finishing towards the top of your league and staying around the middle or finishing bottom is who you're going to captain week in, week out. And Paul's right. It should be a week by week decision this season because, it is easy to just set and forget on Haaland, but teams have started to work him out. And I'm not saying completely, but they're starting to work him out this season. And you can tell because it's not the same, right? We wouldn't have weeks on end where, week after week where he wouldn't be scoring. And we've had that a couple of times this season. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's worked him out and that's it, but it's going to be a week by week decision. So, for example, this week I didn't captain Haaland. I had Salah captain and still ended up on 75 points because I still kept Haaland. And I think that's the key is having Haaland in the side. So if you don't captain him, okay, offsets a little bit of the loss of not captaining him. You still get the initial points of what he's done that game. But I think it's about trying to find a creative solution. If you're not going to captain Haaland, who are you going to captain? Who is going to get more points? And when those points are doubled, who's going to end up with more than if you were to captain Haaland? So it is a week-by-week decision. Paul's 100% right. But it's can you find a solution when everyone else is going to captain him? Can you find a solution? Is there going to be someone else that outperforms in that week? And really, isn't it just luck of the draw at the end of the day? I guess when he's banging in goals like he is, you've really got to take a bit of a risk there.
Yeah, fully agree. All right, so let's take a quick. All right, so now just a recap of all the scores, all the assets that are performing well. Some new faces, some faces that we are accustomed to, people that have been very consistent. And of course, you'll be using them and going into Game Week 11 with those assets. Of course, let's take a quick gander at how our league is looking and how the YouTube team performed really quickly. And then we'll just create a team for the week and call that George. Right. Of course, against Bournemouth, Captain Haaland. I'm not gonna jump or move from that at all. I think that's a no-brainer. Hopefully, Pep doesn't rotate though or disrespect them because they have Champions League coming up as well. So that's something to take into consideration because we know how Pep is. All right. So team last week. Right. So Game Week 10. Rocked up the channel rocked up at 87, right? We had Edison in the goal. Nothing in the back, but just Simicus and Cash. So that's big, taking that 11 from those guys. We had Madison, Mbomo, Salah, and Saka giving us the points in midfield, and of course, Captain Haaland. Nothing to cry about in the bench. So great showing there from the team. Right? Big up Caps and the others who helped pick the team last week. And Paul. Right. Let's see what's going on with this league now. Because every week is someone else. Up and down, up and down, up and down. So right now, it looks like we have a tie on points. So we have two guys at the top with 687 total. So that's Vera, Ramkisoon, and Wendell George. So let's see what the team's looking like. So 81, he had Becker, Saliba, and Romero. Salah, Saka, Madison, Sunday, Abbey. Wow, look at that midfield. And we captain Salah, and there's no Haaland, guys. Very interesting.
Wow.
No Haaland. So the guy at the top of the league has no Haaland. All right.
But he did have Darwin.
Yeah, he did have Darwin.
Yeah, so
but still. Damn.
I mean, it's a good risk, It's not bad risk. I mean, especially this week. I mean, it worked out for him this week because Darwin is able to get points. You know, the thing about it, when you go without Haaland, you have an opportunity to spread your funds around a little bit more. So by that by that virtue, your team should be overall, your team should be a little bit more stronger. You could afford to do more things, have more players. Like Lucky, for
Yeah,
instance, he has Trippier in
correct.
his, all the Trippier in return, but his team is more balanced and more complete as a result. He has
And
Madison, he has
he has
Son,
a very
he has
expensive
a very
squad.
expensive midfield. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I was going to
you know,
say, what's the bet? He's a Liverpool fan, but you can see the little fan badge there. He's definitely a Liverpool fan.
Yes,
with
the
with
badge is
Haaland
there.
over Haaland.
yeah,
With
yeah.
that.
Right. Then of course Wendell George, friends of the channel,
Well done.
85 points. So he has Taylor, Cash, Simicus, so not too bad. Son, Saka, Diaby, and Salah, Captain Salah. Then he of course Haaland at the top. So if he probably captain Haaland, sorry, that might have edged him over and he may have gotten the extra points he needed. May have. Right? So not too bad from them. 15,000 rank. Well done, fellas. So you're doing your must be dance right now. But each week there's someone else on top of the league. Very competitive this season. And of course, our third place, Fatmash 11, Kieran Mahabir, we have 87 points. So Ariola, he had Cash Simicus, Salah, Diaby, Son, Madison, Captain Haaland, of course, Alvarez, and well, nothing to cry about on the bench. This Cash thing, with Paul, this reminds me of last season with Trip. That was Trippier last season. Trippier would be always subbed off just before Newcastle conceded. I always
Yep.
had him just at that right time. Just at
I
that
was
right
thinking,
time.
I was thinking that too. When it happened, I was like, this is just like Trippier. This was the same thing that used to happen. Newcastle used to always keep a clean sheet up to like the 78th, 80th minute. They take off Trippier and then boom, they concede one goal.
Yeah.
And all the Trippier owners got the clean sheet. And I didn't
Got
have
the clean
Trippier at that time. So I was crying.
No, captain in one of those sessions, and it was a decent captain. Yeah, one of those, and I was frightened because I saw the goal conceded. I was like, oh, shock! Then I saw he got subbed off. I was like, right, yes,
Yeah.
remember that time. All right, so
Yeah.
Paul's team should be up on the screen. Not sure why is it not showing up. All right, so Paul, run us through what went right and what you're trying to fix for next week.
Well, I mean, as you could see, I did 2 transfers for -4. I took out McNeil, brought in Saka, I had enough money to upgrade McNeil to Saka. And I took out Richarlison because I heard the news beforehand that Brennan Johnson may play. So I got scared and said, you know what, let me just take him out, let me not risk it. And I went with Matoma. So I was hoping that Matoma and Saka would have returned for me. They had good matchups, and yeah, it just didn't work out. Well, Saka got the assist, but I was really hoping for more. When you hear scoring like 5-0, you're thinking to yourself, if you didn't see the score, you're thinking to yourself, aha, yeah, Saka definitely gets something. Probably got 2 returns, but well, just 1 assist.
That's
It's
harsh,
like,
mate. That's harsh.
killed me. But at least I've set up for the run. I mean, the Newcastle game is,
Correct.
anything could happen. But after that, they have a nice run of fixtures. I think 2 of the next 3 is against the recently promoted teams. So
Yeah.
that should work out in my favor. But other than that, I was happy for Diaby. Diaby came through with points finally. Got a good haul for me. Well, obviously Haaland. I wish I put the captaincy. I gamble on Saka, but should have really placed it on Haaland. And Simiskas was another bright point for me with the clean sheet. Since I brought him in, getting 2 clean sheets for me, so that worked out nicely as well. And then, as you could see, I had Ariola bench flicking, thinking Ariola was the guy to get the clean sheet, and it ended up being flicking. So it was a little bit unfortunate there, but against Brentford against Chelsea, I'm thinking Chelsea would have scored. So that's why I ended up going the Ariola route.
Yeah, well,
So,
you can't be too confident with Chelsea these days, can you, Paul? Chelsea.
Yeah.
You can't back them. You cannot back them.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't ready. I mean, I wasn't too surprised, but I thought at least maybe Chelsea gets a goal And I just thought the matchup was better. I thought West Ham would, because they had the easier matchup, would be the better chance of getting a clean sheet. But unfortunately, I was wrong.
What's going on with Matoma at the moment? What do you think of Matoma? Is it time to hedge our bets with Matoma, or is it or has he still got a bit of value?
No, I think they stick with him because Brighton still has some good, a few good fixtures left. They just like Aston Villa and West Ham, they still have a nice little fixture run. So I think if you have him, you own him, you stick it out. If it is you're thinking about getting him, just maybe reconsider probably Mbuemo, because Mbuemo right now around the same price point. He's 6.6, right? 6.6 or 6.7. I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's around the same price point. But if you're considering between him and Mitoma, another midfielder like Diaby, probably you might quicker go for one of them. But if you have him, hold on to him for now. They still have a few good fixtures. And then afterwards, when the fixture run starts to get tricky, you could offload. But he hasn't played bad. He played badly. I just think he's just been a little bit unlucky of late.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. So
but
what you do?
Yeah, good. Wasn't a bad week.
Yeah. What was the let me see. Before we get into that quickly, Paul, as we have here talking one time. So break down. This is your team for game week 11, right? Break down the game plan first.
Right. So I'm thinking about two things, two transfers. I really truly only want to make one. I don't like to get any habit of doing the -4. Really and truly, the best thing to do is to not transfer this week. But I'm thinking about getting out Botman, seeing as I heard news that he might be injured even longer and his value might drop. I don't want to lose any more value on him. So I may take out Botman and bring in Mark Wee from Crystal Palace because he's cheap and Crystal Palace has a good little scheduled run of games coming. And I could start, if I do that, I could start Gueye instead of Porro. Although we just now said that Chelsea is having their issues and that should be a good matchup for Spurs. But just to have that little more a backup defender in Mark Gueye, or at least have an option of going between one of the two. And I find he's been looking a little bit more attacking recently as well. He had some good chances in the game against Spurs, so probably, who knows, he might get a goal against Burnley. So that might be a punt there. Also, thinking about Darwin instead of Haaland. I'm not too thrilled with what's going on with Man right now.
That'll give you 3 Liverpool players, though, Paul. What's going on there, mate? Come on.
I mean, it's fantasy. I can't help it.
That is definitely a fantasy, isn't it?
It's fantasy. And it would be the first time of the season I wouldn't own any Manchester United players if I do that.
That's
but
crazy.
I'm trying. I'm going against it because there's still hope. I mean, we still have 3 games coming up that aren't as difficult. Although Fulham still is a little tricky, but I'm hoping and praying that Haaland finally comes to the party. He hasn't scored as yet. I'm hoping and praying this might be the week. So
it's time to let him go, Paul. It's time to let.
Yeah, it's hard to let him go. He has to score.
This week, can I confirm that you will let him go next week?
It's so hard. It's so hard. And Darwin is looking so good. Darwin is looking so good.
He's right there. He's waiting for you. Darwin's saying, "Please, Paul, pick me, Paul. Yeah. I'm doing so well, Paul."
I don't know. But that's my thought process right now at the moment. Yeah. So far, I'm just leaning towards the Gueye move. As I said before, the best move really might be just to leave everything and just go into the following week with 2 free transfers. May do that too. Plus Porro has been looking good. Next thing you know, I mean, Porro gets a goal or assist. So a little bit of FOMO there.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
So I want to big up Wendell in the chat. You just spoke about his team, just went through his team. Just now they saying triple captain Haaland on this weekend. But Wendell, in an alternative universe, Pep didn't start Haaland because he rested him for Champions League. So Be careful with that.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
I would break my television set. I would throw my television out the window if Pep was to rest Haaland and I triple captain him. No chance. I would be throwing that TV out the window.
No,
I will never.
I'd be getting on a plane to Manchester and I'd be slapping Pep on his bald head. Smack him on the head.
Do not take that chance at all. That is worse than gambling in a casino.
He says Salah hat trick. Salah hat trick with the vice captain. All right, so you have his plan then. You have his backup plan. All right.
Yeah, but he can also bring on Haaland for like a little 2 minutes or 5 minutes in the game. So yeah. I'm not taking that chance. I'm not taking that chance.
I'm sorry I brought it up. I said. Oh my word. All right, so here what we're gonna do quickly. So instead of going through the categories, we're going to what I want us to do, we're gonna make like a free hit team for the game week or a punt team for the week, right? It doesn't matter, no differentials, whatever. We just put in. So somebody pull up the fixtures on their side, someone pull up FDR, and let's collaborate and make a team, and we'll try and have a few differentials in it as well, who we think will perform. So we'll pick the best keeper for the game week that we think will perform, best defenders, some differentials, and captain the best asset. How that sound, guys?
Yeah, excellent. I've got the fixtures here.
Yeah. Right, so let's take a. I'm gonna disappear for a bit, but I'm here. My audio still here. Right, so let's take it away now. So how we want to adjust the team first and foremost. We're keeping Edison. Is Edison even gonna start? Would Pep do that funny thing he did last time?
I think you keep Edison.
Surely he doesn't. He'll start Edison. Surely.
Okay, sure.
In the Premier League, they don't have. Like, I know that they've got Champions League to worry about, absolutely, and we're talking about it. But I think the fact that they're not clear and top like they normally are every season, Pep's not still trying. He's taking the Premier League very seriously still.
Yes,
so
be aggressive.
I don't think as many people are going to be rested as we think this week. So I think Edison's definitely one to keep in. Bournemouth. Let's be honest. Are Bournemouth going to score against Man City?
It's possible.
No, they're not going to score. They're not. No.
Wow.
If you have to put a percentage
I'll
chance
put
on
a
it.
10 on that. What's 10 Australian to TC? I'll put 10.
If I was to put,
I'll take your 10, mate.
if I was to put a percentage on Bournemouth going against City this weekend, I would say probably about 5%.
65%. Yeah, I agree.
A 5% chance that Bournemouth scores. Very, very slim.
Edison's a good get. Keep Edison in the side.
Yeah, so keep Edison.
All right. So we keep it. So, hey, big up Kapil. Kapil, you could press the link right there in the chat, Kapil, if you want to jump in quick for this segment. Big up, Kapil. All right. So we happy with Edison. Defense. Who have the FDR with them? Who have the fixtures with them? Right? Help me out. Guide me. How are we looking? So we keep it Simicus for sure. No brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? That's a no brainer. Kobori. Out.
Out. Yeah.
All right. Cash. In or out?
Keep him. Keep in Cash. Kobori, if you're taking out Kobori, bring in Magui or Anderson. Crystal Palace defender. They have a good chance of keeping a clean sheet.
Who was their fixture? Paul, remind us.
They're coming up against Burnley. Now I know it's an away game. It'll be at Turf Moor, but I just feel like
it's Burnley.
Crystal Palace has been pretty good. I mean, they haven't been bad. They haven't been that bad against the better teams. They've had their struggles, but against Burnley, I think they should be able to fight a clean sheet.
All right.
Are you trying to keep this within the bank, Jared, or can we break the bank for this?
Yeah, you can go ahead. It's just a punt. It's just a punt for the week. Just a punt. We just punting players for the week. I'm not too fussed up with price right now.
Go double up on Liverpool. Go with Trent.
Well, when
I was going to say Trent. We're playing Luton And I know it's away, but Trent's going to take the free kicks. He's going to take half the corners with Zoboslai, and
Okay.
Luton against it's going to be tough for Luton to score. Let's be honest.
Or you could go with another city. So you either have 2 City or 2 Liverpool. So you have
Well,
somebody back.
I like what Wendell saying Ruben Diaz, but you already have 3 City. So
Oh yeah. We already have. Well, yeah. Unless we decide to take out Alvarez,
yeah, get rid of Alvarez. Yeah, but against Bournemouth,
Darwin.
But then you chuck in Darwin, and then you go, oh, watch out.
all right, no
I
problem.
would definitely look at getting in a City defender along with a Liverpool defender. So if you're keeping Tsimikas and you've got cash there as well, then you're looking at a Man City defender against Bournemouth, and you're pretty happy there, I reckon. Because you'd probably more want to utilise your third Liverpool player in the midfield with someone like a Diogo Jota or Zoboslai next to Salah.
Yeah.
You want to utilise that there. So Ruben Diaz is a great call in defence there. That's perfect. And then you can look towards your midfield, and you've got we were saying Zoboslai is a great get. I think Mbeumo is great to keep in the side. Salah's doing fantastic. You and I spoke about Matoma, Paul. I think Matoma might be worth keeping. I know it's away against Everton, but Everton's defence has been shaky all season. So I think he's a chance to keep in.
When they're saying Julian out for Nunes, no, I put Watkins in there as a but wait, no, do we no Liverpool midfielders and go straight for Darwin?
I think we stick with what I think Watkins is a great call there. Watkins against Nottingham Forest is a fantastic call.
Yeah.
Then you can utilise someone like Zoboslai or Jota.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so we have Tsimikas, Salah. All right. So who are we dropping for to bring in Soboslai? We dropping Matoma against Everton? Are we dropping Mbeumo against West Ham? Maddison against Chelsea? Saka versus Newcastle?
I would lean towards Saka, but I know you don't want to hear that, Jared. But I would.
No, it's fine. There's no love in fantasy, Johnny. I have no problem.
And in a game last week where Arsenal scored 5 and Saka didn't really contribute too much, it's. The safe option for me is to drop Saka.
The caveat I'll add to that though, Johnny, is that we were playing against a team that's playing on low block. Obviously, when you're playing a team like Newcastle, Man U, City, those kind of teams, they are going to attack and leave space, and Saka will exploit those spaces. So it could be an end-to-end game because they have to have their wits about them as well too, just as we will have to, right? But yeah, I'm not. As I say, this is just a punt for Game Week 11. So
of course. But the question I would pose to you then is, if I said to you, okay, Jared, pick for me this week. Saka's up against Newcastle away. Zoboslai's against Luton away. Which one do you think's gonna?
Yeah, of course. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
for sure. I will not argue with that one at all. For sure. And I say again, we're trying to max it. I should have calculated the team we had last week. And the team we had last week did very, very good. I didn't get to calculate the points, but it was a boss team that we selected last week. So, obviously just about getting points for that game week. So, all right. Anybody else we'll fix in that midfield? Maddison and Mbeumo, Salah?
Yeah. Can Diaby come in at any point? I don't know.
Woo!
Is he worth bringing in? Is Diaby worth bringing in?
So if you'll drop him Mbeumo?
Diaby, yeah.
Villa have got Nottingham Forest.
So
actually, no. Villa's on the road to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, he is away. Yeah, it's away to Nottingham Forest, so it's not going to be easy.
I would hold.
And we're not too hot,
I would hold them Mbeumo. I don't know. I agree.
I agree with Wendell. What Wendell just said.
I upgrade Maddison to Son.
Yeah. Upgrade Maddison to Son. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Caps.
Good night. Everybody in, man?
Yeah, Caps. Join in. Tell me how you fixing this team. Talk to me. What Sergio doing to this team? Quick. Forgive me. This is
You
just the
already
punt team.
made
Forgive
changes,
me.
but that's just the bus team, man.
Now we've made some things already. We put in Super Sly, we put in Ruben Diaz, we put in Watkins.
Yeah, no problem with the team. Maybe I'm Mbomo. Just for this week, we could attack somebody more, but we already have Triple City. Do we have Triple City?
Who you want to put from? Who you want to put for Mbomo? Diaby? They're talking about Diaby.
Yeah, Diaby's a good shout.
Yeah.
I think Foden is a good shout.
Oh, but see, we have 3 City already.
Okay, we have 3 City.
So that's the only problem.
I wouldn't get
I
rid
don't
of
think
him.
I would want to double up with Villa against Forest in Forest. Might be a little too much.
All right, fair enough. So Cash and Watkins, you think is solid enough cover?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Yeah.
And West Ham not all that, and Brentford home and Bournemouth fire. Yeah. All right. So
I honestly find you should hold on to Mbuemo.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you see, this is why I'm doing it like this. So Mbuemo could be our hole, our sell. I just saying, right? Our sell could be Saka, and your buy is Soberslide. So all the categories jump in one time in this whole segment here, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Right. So we keeping them. We holding them, Mbuemo. We keeping we keeping Mbuemo. Sorry, selling Saka, and we bringing in Soberslide for this week. So that's our buy sell hold for this week.
problem.
All right. Yeah, and captain shout now. Let me hear. I know it's a dumb question, but who is the obvious captain for this team? On each person answer. I'll start with Johnny, and then who is the side captain on this team? You will captain Johnny. So Johnny, I'm starting with you.
I mean, the obvious choice is got to be Haaland, doesn't it? We did joke about Pep trying to be a bit cheeky and resting players, but I don't think Pep's there yet. I think he's still trying to push for as much success as possible. So I think Haaland's going to start. I think he's definitely going to be captain. If you're not captaining, you're going to be upset if you don't. I think side captain, you've got to look at someone. I mean, Salah, he's just on fire at the moment. Luton away, it's a great game. I think Luton are going to put 11, and if they can, maybe 12, 13, 15 people behind the ball, because that's what they're going to need. But I think ultimately, if you do want an alternative to Haaland, if you want to take a risk, a gamble, maybe chuck it to someone like Salah.
Yeah, right. I like that. And Wendell saying I would have actually changed the keeper to John Stone and bringing Foden from Matoma. Not a bad shout. I love it. Right, that's why he's joined first for a reason. Right, I love these suggestions.
Yeah.
Right, brilliant. And then Haaland captain and Cash as an outside shout. I love it. Paul, your two captain shouts or captain suggestions for this team.
Well, I mean, it's obvious the captain has to be Edison.
Well, hey. Against Solanke.
Give him a yellow card. Give him a yellow card, Jared.
But he's going to save a penalty, and he's going to make two saves. I'm telling you, Captain Edison now.
He's gonna score as well, boys.
Yeah. Oh no, there are assists. An assist, a penalty save, and 3 saves. I know what I'm telling you. I call them now. No. Obviously Haaland. But if I had to go with somebody, so this I'm going to throw when Chini works here. I would say Matoma, to be honest.
Okay.
I think Matoma could be just off because he hasn't done anything in a while, but it's usually the player he's blanked out for a few games. Maybe this might be the game he breaks out and has a good game against Everton. Who knows?
Yeah.
So just for fun. Yeah.
No,
with the
I know better that, and he's due. And as you rightfully said, sometimes a guy that has been out of form for a while normally just comes out of nowhere. I mean, that was Son. Son didn't start the season too hot, Right? It was Madison holding all his slack. He didn't, right? Kulusevski was scoring, right? So now Son doing his thing. He gets in that form, and Bournemouth dipped a bit, and Bournemouth's back. So rightfully so. Haaland dipped. Haaland's back. Rightfully, you're right.
Yeah, this could be the week for
Matoma. You're right. You're very, very right. And especially, but what I've been saying the show throughout so far throughout the season, you have to be wary of the teams, these mid-table teams that are in Europe. They don't have the legs, and you're seeing that every time they play Thursday, and then they go on the weekend. You're seeing that sometimes they barely get away with the win or they lose, right? Because they're tired. They don't have that depth where, like City have a little bit of depth, Arsenal have some depth. Even Newcastle have a bit of depth and can handle the pace of the Premier League. So that's all. I'm always wary of that with picking these fellas. But this week, quiet week, and then of course they go into Europe. So following weekend, I'll be monitoring what's happening. But yeah, good show there. Caps. Who would you obviously captain on this team, and then who's your side shout captain?
All right. Well, Haaland is the obvious choice, but the second best captaincy for the week for me is Alvarez after Haaland.
Okay.
This is a kind of Alvarez game here I could see in the works against Bournemouth. A couple of returns and you're good. So I think Haaland first, obviously, because of the young rank, but Alvarez, if you don't have him, go Alvarez instead of Salah.
Okay. I know vex for that. Good night, Tony. Thanks for coming through. Same question, Tony. If you're still there, queer captain in this game, we can use a good side captain shout if you had to suggest someone. So we have 4 more minutes before we hit the hour mark. Let's just take a look at the YouTube team real quickly now, and then we can sign off. I want to thank everybody for coming through so far. Thank you, Johnny and Paul, as always, making me laugh, bringing the banter. Appreciate you guys. Caps, what's your plan for your team specifically, though? What you doing? You're rolling or you're making some transfers?
Yeah. I think I'll just roll. I'm satisfied with the 11, and I could make some choices, but it could come back to burn you. So I just roll, keep the 2, and you could play more adventures if you have to. So you could make one, you save one and you make one next week. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So Tony's saying he's going with Haaland, maybe Salah last minute. All right. Yep. Fair. Right now, once you have the 2 of them, good to go. Just captain one or the other right now, especially with those fixtures. And Luton, I think honestly, if it's up to me, I captain in Salah because Luton are terrible at home. Terrible. And Liverpool, the right Liverpool that wake up that morning could cause havoc.
Yeah. I understand.
Wreak havoc. Bournemouth still have a bit of resistance in them. And I think they will score on City. City will concede, but that doesn't mean City won't win, obviously. Right? But Salah, Luton, and especially what's going on in the world right now, and the camaraderie with the boys for Diaz, and of course what's going on in Palestine and whatnot. Nah, trust me, those boys, they're gonna cook. And Liverpool are gradually getting back the players from injury as well too. So yeah, I think
there's no wrong choice for those guys.
Yeah, for sure. For this game week, for sure. For this game week. All right, so this is the channel's team, right? I just the bus team, right? So Edison, Cash, Gabriel, Simicas, and Burmo, Madison, Saka, Salah, Matoma, Alvarez, Haaland. Our bench is Turner, Gusto, Mubama, and Kobori. I think we're supposed to have 2. We have 1 transfer in the back. So I am thinking to rule, but what are your suggestions? Anyone? What's your suggestions for this team?
Yeah, rule.
Yeah, roll it on through, I reckon.
Yeah, I like the rule. And we can keep the 2 to make some adventurous moves coming up.
No, and of course, leave it. What I'll do, a vice captain Salah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Just to be safe. All right. I think that's it. I am, because this team racked up 87 with Gabriel not playing, right? Alvarez on 2 points, and Matoma 2 points as well. So far less if everybody bang, that'll be great. Especially if I get clean sheets in the back there, that'll be nice. Gabriel might be the tricky one, but other than that, yeah. So I'm leaving it. So as you can see, finally,
funny enough, you never know. Arsenal Newcastle could be. I remember last year. Wasn't this exact fixture, but there was a fixture that they had where it finished off 0-0 between the two teams. So you never know.
I think this Arsenal game is a 2-0 for Arsenal, to be honest with you.
All right.
Yeah. I believe so too. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal keep a clean sheet.
All right, hey, claim it,
You
claim
might
it.
get through, you might get through it, Gabriel.
I claim it. We're not saying the risk of dropping rank outweigh the benefits with Salah for me. All right. Yeah, definitely. I understand what he's going to come, especially where he is right now. Definitely can't play with that right now. So I fully understand. All right. So Johnny, as usual, let's sign off with your best piece of advice for the game week coming up, game week 11. Solid piece of advice.
Yeah, load up on your City and Liverpool assets. If you've got them, keep them. If you don't have them, get them, because let's be honest, Luton away and City with Bournemouth, there's going to be some. I think this weekend there's going to be some big scores. Some big scores. We're going to see lots of goals, which is what we love. Doesn't matter if you support either team or whatever. It's just we love goals, so lots of goals.
Correct.
And I think it might be a surprise. I think whether it's City scores 6 and Haaland doesn't score, or Luton win 1-0 against Liverpool. I don't know. I think there's going to be one surprise this weekend. It's going to be a shock to the fantasy. I think so. If you can take a risk on whether it's not captaining Haaland or if it's loading up on some players that you think others won't, I think there'll be a surprise this week. But I think we'll see a lot of goals. So keep your Man City assets, keep your Liverpool assets, and good luck.
Well, I needed the Curry hat trick, but that's from a fan tracks. I'm being selfish. That's from a fan tracks. Yeah. We had a poll up, best punt for the week. So I put some, real off options. So I put Cunha, Foden, Billing, Kudos. So Cunha and Foden both got 40% and Kudos 20%. So thanks guys for taking part. Paul, best advice for the game week 11.
Make sure and save, click that save button. I know you say it all the time, but I repeating it. Click that save button, make sure your team is set. You don't want to wake up and realize you have your captaincy on Edison. Yeah? Or your captaincy still on, or you're playing around with your team and you're just doing some things and you put your captaincy on cash or something like that. I mean, who knows, that could work out, but just to be safe, make sure you click that save button, make sure your team is set, and you have your captaincy on the right person, you have your vice captaincy on the right person, and also something that people tend to overlook, your bench. Make sure the order of your bench, you have the right person in position, because you never know what could happen. Sometimes people get injured like minutes before the game start, just training, so just make sure your team's set appropriately in case that happens, in case there's some pep day or something like that. If you have your captaincy on Haaland, make sure your vice captain is on somebody who you're confident will have a haul this week.
That's solid. I'm taking that. Paul. Caps, solid piece of advice. Game week 11.
I don't think the two panelists before left anything for me. They said it all. But yeah, again, just to add on to what they said, because what they said makes sense, and I also would follow that advice. Just remember, you have game weeks other than this game week, so don't mash up your team just to get 3 City, and then you have the -4 back. So just play a little smart, and yes, target the fixtures, but like also don't get too wild with the fixtures, because as I mentioned earlier, it could have a shock or two. I think this game you could see some funny results, especially with Villa and Forest and these teams. Forest is a hard team to beat home. So then you triple up on Villa and you see a 1-0 to Forest, which we won't be surprised. So again, sometimes the fixtures is there, but Spurs went to Luton and only scored 1. And everybody had triple Spurs. So so like don't mash up a team just to get the players for this week, and the next week you need them back. So find the proper balance there.
Yeah. And I will jump on that by saying too, like, not all the time the fixture is that fixture. I don't like to chase fixture. I don't care if, like, for example, I just saying Aston Villa on a nice run. I don't care if Aston Villa playing City. I'm not going to just suddenly drop my players. I may just drop the defender, but your striker could score.
Yep.
Your striker could score. So don't go running, as you rightfully say, and destroying your team. Just no. And again, yes, and the flip could happen. The flip could definitely happen with Manchester City, because everyone thought City was going to destroy Wolves early in that early game, and it didn't. The reverse happened, and Haaland didn't even score. So definitely try to be wary of that. And I love that bench shout from Paul for sure. And of course, what I always say, click that save button. And of course, make sure, yeah, I like that shout, that bench shout for real, for real. A
Yeah.
lot of people overlook that, and then next thing, the key player is fourth and
Yeah.
tough. You have some with 2 points coming on, or some with a -1 coming on. So please, yeah, be careful with that.
Try to keep the attackers higher up on the
Correct,
bench.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. Well, in this case, my best option for this team is Gusto up on top, just because of how the team is. But that's just
Yeah.
because of how, yeah. All right, so guys, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to share this, drop likes. We need it for the algorithm to keep this show going and to get noticed by YouTube and get some sponsors going. So I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank my guest Johnny. Right, have a good day at work, buddy. Big up Paul and Caps for coming through. Caps and I are going to be linking up tomorrow to do some cricket. Hopefully the weather is beautiful, so we'll look out for that content coming very soon. Of course, check out Caps Twitter page. Caps, tell them his Twitter page because you do a lot of you do basketball content, cricket, well, sports on a whole.
It's just my name practically, Captain Ramtran. So
right,
simple.
and of course, Paul with his Instagram reviews. Paul, remind them Instagram.
Also, Paul PULSE
right.
OFPAUL
No.
on Instagram.
And if you want to see Johnny jumping from like a cannon or something, or being shot from a random, playing basketball,
It happens.
Johnny, tell them your page. Johnny,
Crazy shit, man. Don't
Johnny's always up to something random.
make you do crazy
Johnny here, no?
stuff, all right? Just don't get into it. Just don't do it. If you want to hear me my voice anymore, then just Google Johnny Queens or whatever. You'll find me somewhere. You find me around the place.
Right. Right. If you don't believe me,
Jared's gone.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, is
right,
he?
look like
Is he?
internet
Is he?
giving us some
Oh,
issues.
there we go. There it is.
Yeah. No, internet giving us some issues. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna give me real beans today, guys. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming through. Like, share, subscribe.
To save the day.
Bro, you had to learn that Jizzy to Rashford. Len.
Ten Hag needs
Yeah.
you, Paul. All right, you're gonna
Ten
get
Hag.
something from me and you this weekend, mate.
They need more than Superman right now. That Manchester United.
They need just Oh no, internet. All right, guys, we'll sign off there. Internet giving us a lot of trouble, but we'll see you guys in the next one. Happy picking, and may arrows all be green for this game week 11. Take care, guys.